But I must say, racing, it's given a lot of people international experience, and a lot of racing can take you a long way. Even if you come from, like Michael, from Oudtshoorn,
Yes.
you end up riding for the Queen in England and becoming champion jockey. I mean, that's, and Felix Coetzee and Dougie White, Basil Marcus. You can go somewhere in racing if you put your head down and go for it. Welcome to another edition of In the Box Seat. We've got rid of Len Furner for the show. He's at the Yearling sales in Joburg. He tells me he was seconded there. I think he just went there for a jewel, but anyway. With me today I have Terry Fripp, one of the unsung heroes, backroom boy, and who's been in the game a hell of a long time. Hello Terry, good to have you on the show.
Andy, thanks for having me on in the box seat.
Yeah, well, we've seen your face on the show a few times. You always stick your boat in with other things here when you were working for Tony.
Yeah, I normally whiz past and have a little giggle here and there, but now I'm in the
firing line. Seat, yeah.
Cannon fodder.
Yeah. Yeah, we always say that who's our next victim. Yeah. Terry, let's start from the very beginning. How did you get into this game?
Grassroots, I was a young boy, 14, 15, I was in Hillcrest High, standard 7, and in walked this young boy, and looking very unsure of himself, and the teacher introduced him to the class, and by the name of Glen Kotzen.
Okay.
And he was put in the back row next to me.
Glen Kotzen?
Glen himself.
Grant.
Glen. At the time, Grant was still an apprentice at the academy. And we just kind of became friends, and at the time I wasn't really a horse person per se.
Right.
Going back to when my grandfather used to do a bit of work for the Durban Turf Club as a sign writer, and been renowned in the Kotzen family. Glen and I struck up a good friendship as young boys at school, and I visited him a few times, and his dad was training in Newmarket at the time, and then he moved down to KZN, and we just became good friends from then on. And obviously Nate's, Glen's probably about 2 years older than me. Nate's same year as myself, so I was sort of inducted into the Kotzen family, the dynasty. Yeah. So I'm very friendly with all of them.
Old man Kotzen, I mean, he looked like Charles Bronson. I think he still does.
Yeah. Now Uncle Nate and Auntie Dawn, Glen and Nate's parents are almost like parents to me. I have fond memories of them, and they've brought me up as a young boy. Learned a lot from both of them, especially Uncle Nate. He's old school master from back in the day. Yeah. And then just struck it off from there, and obviously I just sort of racing mad, high school, bunking school, hitchhiking to races at Scottsville, and
so the bug bit, big time.
Yeah, and it's still biting. Yeah,
that's good, eh?
Yeah,
how long have you been in the game? I mean,
it's close on 40 years, I guess. I'm 56 now, so I've had a good grounding. My first real boss that I worked for was Dennis Bosch. Started working for him in April '92.
Good for Dennis.
Yeah, and
education.
Yeah, I'm still learning from him. Whether it's in racing or not, I don't know, but I'm still learning from him. But I worked for Dennis Bosch for quite a long time at Clarewood, and in those days he was a very fit man, jockey. He's walking around 65 and riding a lot of his work, and a lot of memories came out of Clarewood.
So you actually rode work for Dennis?
I rode a lot of work for Dennis in the days. I picked a lot of horses that he put me on, and I was a journeyman track rider in the early days when we used to come here in the school holidays, and I used to ride a bit of work for Benton when he was still training here, and for a few of the other trainers I was quite close to some of the old school trainers like Uncle Joe and Terry Ryan, etc.
But Clarewood was big in the day. There were a lot of trainers here.
Oh, Clarewood was very big. I mean, in those days still the Passmores used to have about 60 horses. I mean, Dennis had 70 horses in those days.
Reg Passmore was like the kingpin there.
Oh yeah, no, his horses were known for, when they were stepping them out, they were sprinters.
Yeah.
Tony Riverland bears testament to that.
He worked for Tony.
Yeah. I had a good 13 years with Tony as well before joining Gareth.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're from Clarewood and Dennis, where did you move on to?
I got married when I was working for Dennis, and my ex-wife, who's now a school teacher at Kersney, she got a job working at Kersney, so I relocated up to Summerveld, and ended up going back to Dennis when Clarewood Park closed down. You know, and to cut a long story short, I worked for a few stud farms and that, just to gain a bit of extra knowledge in the industry on whole.
Which farms were those?
A little bit with Craig Ramsey at Golden Acres,
Okay,
a few of the girls in Summerveld. Also did a bit of grounding at Craig Ramsey, and then I have fond memories of working for John Fox's late dad, David Fox, in Warham Stud at the bottom of base of Fort Nottingham.
Yeah.
In those days he had Sledgehammer and King of Tonga and Coventry and Majestic Crown.
Stallions in those
Oh
days,
yeah. And a lot of pre-training in those days. And I think the first good filly that I backed, and proud to acknowledge the fact that I did, was a filly called Sounds of Light that the late Pat Riley trained. Yeah, yes. And she was a very, very good filly.
The Holsworth,
Yeah, she was all fired up. In those days, All Fired Up was the boom stallion, known for sprinting horses.
Yeah, that was Craig Ramsey's Mallorca stud.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a very interesting career, and we all have our ups and downs on it, and but we learn along the way. Never stop learning here. And Summerveld, our class is my backyard. You know, I know it backwards.
Where do you live now?
I stay probably about 5 kilometers away.
Okay.
Yeah, it's close to work. I've always tried to stay close to work as possible. And then
but then from Dennis, and you moved to?
I was actually walking through the boom gate here in Summerveld one morning, and I was very close to the late Mr. Herman Brown Senior.
Yes.
And he saw me one day. He said to me, "Terry, you know, Herman's looking to open up a yard in Dubai, and looking to go international." Because at the time he's long serving.
Yes, yeah. Now Frank started at Ashburton with young Herman, you know.
Yeah.
It was a hell of a thing. Yeah. Lafferty and Goss and Watkinson.
Yeah.
Was a horrible crew. Yeah.
Funny enough, Frankie is a very good friend of mine. We were at primary school together. We go back that far, you know. So we've known each other 50 years or so at New Germany Primary back in the old days. And Frank, funny enough, was a very, very good footballer in his youth. And I think he'll battle get a squash ball nowadays. Yeah. But Frank and I are still good friends, and we try and chat as much as we can. And Mr. Brown Senior said to me, "Speak to Herman, he'll put in a good word and see if he can travel." And 2 months later, I was on an aeroplane flying across to Dubai to get the yard set up at then Nadal Sheba. So I was really chomping at the bit and looking forward to the journey.
Herman had some nice horses in those days, didn't he?
He did have some very good horses in South Africa, and started off with a small string in Dubai, but a select string, and they sent half a dozen horses from South Africa. As we all know, the quarantine route was quite strenuous on those horses. Fillies like the likes of a young filly that won over 1100 and 1000 is a 2-year-old Western Winter filly called Imperial Ice, and we ended up winning the UAE Oaks with her on the dirt.
Okay.
That same season with Kevin Shea rode her. So she did very well, and a lot of other horses. And
well, Herman moved there sort of the same time as Mike de Kock, so they were sort of groundbreakers, weren't they?
It was quite a few years after Michael.
After Mike, okay.
Yeah, at least, because it was quite a few years after
the Mike had broken the ice. So
after the Ipitombi and the Victory Moon era and Right Approach, etc. It was in. I went over in the September of 2005.
Yeah.
And then 2006 was our first official racing season at Nadal Sheba, which was. I find memories of that track. It was
before Maidan, right?
It was before Maidan, yeah. You know, Maidan is amazing race course. It's spectacular. I've had the privilege of just being there once in 2009, and it's massive. But Nadal Sheba still got a lot of history there. The big horses, you know, when you go back to the likes of Street Cry and all those horses there.
And they all raced there,
yeah.
And then, so Dubai, you were there for how long?
Through to 2009. And
you told me you've been to Norway and Russia and Chechnya and all those dodgy places.
Yeah, Herman acquired a client, Ramazan Kadyrov, who was a Chechen president at the time.
Okay.
And I think he still is. And they acquired a horse that they bought from, who was it now? Tyron Zaki, I think his name. I think it was a horse called Warrior Man.
Okay.
And very nice horse, and they sent him over to Moscow, and then from there to Chechnya. Chechnya is quite a way. It's a long flight from Moscow. It's a good 4-hour flight.
Okay.
It's right down sort of on the southwestern side towards the Caspian Sea.
Yeah, well, so Russia's quite a large area. I mean,
Well, when it's split up, I mean, there's a lot of provinces in that and
sure.
areas in that. I mean, never forget, I was flying back to Moscow from Chechnya, and there was a huge storm just outside Moscow, so we had to divert the plane and landed in I think it's an area called Novgorod. There was a racehorse called Novgorod one day. And we had to get off the airplane, go into the terminal building, and the only visa I had was from South Africa that was issued to me to go to Russia. But this was not part of Russia anymore. So I climbed out and had to please explain who I was, where I was,
and where you were going. Yeah.
And they had to try and understand where I was coming from. And it wasn't very difficult. I thought I was ready to go into the holding cell. But fortunately, there was a young lady in the airplane who was a university student, and she was quite literate in the English language, and explained to the guys at customs that give me a break. Otherwise, I wouldn't know. We probably would have ended up.
Probably been in Stalingrad or whatever they call those places.
Siberia. Yeah. But very interesting, good experience. And it's just, when you travel a lot, especially in the racing industry, you forget where you come from, and you just try and think about where you're going.
Yeah.
And you've got to focus on the task at hand, traveling through a lot of international terminal buildings, and especially in Dubai. Dubai is the hub of racing. Not that Australia and Hong Kong aren't, but everyone congregates there for 3 months of the year. Most of the big guns come out for Dubai World Cup, Super Saturday, etc. And anyone who's anyone there, from press to trainers to owners, and just the fact that you get to meet those guys is just like, it's wow. Especially from us guys that are like right down in the southern Africa,
Yeah. But I must say, racing, it's given a lot of people international experience, and a lot of racing can take you a long way. Even if you come from, like Michael, from Oudtshoorn,
yes,
you end up riding for the Queen in England and becoming champion jockey. I mean, that's, and Felix Coetzee and Dougie White, Basil Marcus. You can go somewhere in racing if you put your head down and go for it.
The South African racing fraternity have got to be very proud of our ambassadors in the horse racing sport, and it's difficult with our international quarantine restrictions with horses and that. I mean, I think a lot more trainers deserve to apply their skills in foreign countries. I mean, Matthew de Kock, Mark's son, is doing very well in Australia, and he set up a nice family there and doing very well, and it's good for Michael's.
Yeah, I think South African trainers are well regarded. Sort of everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, in Hong Kong and now, if you look in Australia, you got David Payne, who's probably he's trained Group 1 winners in Australia. You've got the Alexanders that moved there.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when the guys go over there, they've got to start right from the bottom and from ground roots and pick up a shovel and push a wheelbarrow. It's not as easy.
They're quick the Aussies are quick to latch on to blokes who know what they're doing.
Oh, yeah. A friend of mine said Australians are nice place. Australia's a very lovely place. The only problem is Australians live there.
So from Dubai, and from Herman, where did you move on to from there?
Well, when I came back home at the end of 2010, when Herman was sort of closing down and the yard was getting a bit small in Dubai, I came home and I worked for Mace a little bit for 6 months at Barrington Farm, out in the Kloof Valley.
Is a long way from home,
Today Summerfeld's 29 degrees or getting close to there. This is probably about as cold as I'd want it to be. If I could wear shorts and sneakers and a t-shirt 365 days a year, I'm happy. Just like you. At least I dress like you, but the only thing is I wear shoes. But I joined Tony Riverland 13 good years, almost 13 good years in Summerfeld.
That's a long time.
And
I mean, the only person I can think of who's been longer was Craig Uni with Alistair Gordon.
Yeah, Nicolette's done a long time.
Nicolette's with Alistair as well,
But also, you have your ups and downs, but good years, and Tony became a good friend of mine. We spoke a lot of matters of interest outside of racing as well. I learned a lot from him. Very meticulous man, very knowledgeable in all aspects of the sport. And Sommerfeld's got to be blessed to have him sitting upstairs in the what I call the Oval Office, overseeing Sommerfeld, because he wears his heart on the sleeve. I mean, many times I would see him running down down the stairs from his office, jumping on the back of a tractor at any time of the day. So, very good man and nice family, and we left on a good manner, and we still have a good chat and all that. But I've joined Gareth and the Van Zyl family. I've known Gavin for a long time, and I even known Gareth from when he was a young boy at school. Right. When my ex-wife gave him extra lessons in accounting, sitting at our dining room table at the top of Bertha's Hill.
You do accountancy now, where the race is going.
And it's an up-and-coming yard. A lot of nice young horses, and had a very good season last year. So we've struck up a good relationship. I only started on the 1st of February. So let's see how we go from there. And I'm looking forward to the future.
Yeah, quite a big change. I mean, I don't know how many horses Tony had. I don't think it was too many.
It was a manageable size string, and there's not as many as he should have had. But at some stages he had up to 40, a little bit more than 40. But
now you're looking at a stable of close to 100.
Just about, almost there. But it's, as anyone can move into a new yard, it's sort of a bit of an eye-opener, and different methods of training, different methods of working within the yard, and one should know how to get to know the horses within the first couple of weeks of employment. If you've been in this game as long as I have or anybody else has.
I think one of the key aspects with a trainer and assistant trainer is that they get on together. There's not my way and the only way.
Yes, it is. And I mean, look, if there's a good line of communication from senior level to management level, and there's no miscommunication, and as we've always learnt in this game, if you're not sure, ask.
Yeah.
And if you don't hear an answer, then if when in doubt, leave out. But the horses are our main concern. Horses come first, then the clients. The clients put a lot of money into this game. It's not a hobby anymore. It's some guys rate it as a business, and it's become very expensive for every action there's a reaction. So you got to just take care of these animals. We're blessed to have them in our life.
I think I've said it before. I think training racehorses is probably even more difficult than running the country, where you're dealing with finances, you're dealing with staff, you're dealing with owners.
Yes.
And horses breaking down and not performing like they're supposed to, and you also have to be a diplomat.
Yeah, as anyone who's been in this industry a long time, there's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes, from management side, the ordering, the veterinary side, the doctoring, looking after horses, make sure they're sound. It's imperative, no feet, no horse. So you've got to make sure everything's good, and from the bottom to the top.
You've got to be meticulous.
Very much so. Yeah.
And you've got to feed well too.
Yeah. The crux of training is training at the manger.
Yeah, I remember Anne Upton always said to me, bless her heart, she said, if you don't feed them properly, they don't run properly.
Yeah. Paul Brown, he said, my boy, the horse will tell you when he's ready.
Yeah.
Don't you tell him when he's ready. He'll give you the heads up when he's ready to go on further.
You never thought of taking out your own license?
At once by the time I would have thought, let me have a go. Finances, I believe if you want to do it, you've got to do it right. And it's expensive to start off with. And unfortunately, I was never really in that big financial situation to crack on, and I believe that you need a lot of capital just to hit the ground running, And
not a punter?
Big pardon?
You're a punter?
Hunter? Jeez, I battled to catch a PA.
Don't listen to the jockeys.
No. I've been blessed to the sports, the industry has given me a lot of good times, and I just being around these horses, they're magnificent. I mean, when they look at you with their eyes, and their ears move up and down, and they just they can give you the heads up. Look, you're going to get the quirky ones. I've been hurt many times. Many times, more than I can tell. But we bounce back up. It's not like falling off a bicycle or anything. Now I don't want to ride a bike anymore. I've seen
seen a couple of nutters yesterday. Well, actually this morning I saw one bloody trying to kill the groom, but it's fine, you know.
I know, you know, you get that time of the year when all the babies come in, and then it's interesting. But it's good, you know, when you see the babies come in, because you get to see the horses progress, you know, and you think, okay, well, this guy's just not going any quicker than he's supposed to, and the other guys just keep getting better and better and better.
Yeah.
And those are the ones that sort of,
those are the ones you look forward to,
you
yeah.
put them in your, you know, put a tick next to them in your book.
Yeah. What was that old saying? It says, no trainer has ever committed suicide with an unraised 2-year-old in his yard, yeah.
Sure, correct.
Yeah, Terry, what are your sort of plans for the future?
You know, look, as long as I'm healthy and I'm happy, and when I when I wake up in the morning and I'm still looking forward to going to work, that's what my life is right now, you know. And there's no full stop in this game unless you become incapacitated.
No,
you know, we just keep going. There's a lot of people that I'm friendly with that just keep marching on, and you know, you almost get into that. It's not like saying a rut, but as long as I'm enjoying what I'm doing and I'm happy. You know, you've got to be happy in your mind, happy in your soul, happy in your heart. Look forward to the next day. And for that, I'm still doing it at 56. And I'm still a chicken compared to a few guys.
Most trainers I know, they train until they fall off the perch.
Yeah.
So it's quite interesting that Dennis Dreyer turned it up and relaxed.
Yeah, actually, you miss seeing him around, you know.
No, I know.
You do miss seeing him around.
Stick here,
I've seen a lot of the trainers that I grew up with as a young boy leave the industry, and within a couple of months they haven't done what to do with themselves, you know.
Yeah, I know. Retirement is. To speak to me, I know.
It grabs your life and it keeps it in its fist, you know. And you know, there's a lot of unsung heroes in this industry, especially the people that work behind the scenes. I mean, trainers' wives, they must have a horrible time. It's not easy life for them and their children. You don't see their dad, they don't see your mom for a long time. They have very unusual hours, and I mean, there's no saying what time do we start or what time do we finish. You know, to wake up at 4:15 or look at the Mike Miller setup, for example. You know,
But he's a nutter. When does he start? 4 o'clock.
No, that's
that early.
You know, if Craig Eady goes to bed at 8:05, he's going to bed late.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I just, but yeah, that's part of the game. You know, and I've known trainers that you only get to work at around about 9 o'clock. They say horses don't run in the dark.
No, I can't. I like to see what I'm looking at.
Yeah. No, there was a trainer I met him in Maritzburg. No, Jack Russell.
Remember Jack?
Russell?
Yeah, really
Jack.
Yeah.
He used to pitch up around about 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
I said, no, it's just easy games.
Yeah, and in those days when we were kids, we were coming to work and Johnny McPeedy was going home. Yeah. Finished up. Horses are down, eaten, and he was on his way home.
Yeah, no, so that's quite a thing. And the sales,
I keep a close interest in the sales by opening up a catalogue. I haven't managed to venture to Gauteng to the Nationals for quite a while, unfortunately, because being an assistant, bosses are away, you hold home to hold the fort.
Yeah.
But when the sales are down at either Sabaya or Suncoast, I'm always there, trying to look around and see what catches my eye, and also just to catch up with some mates and pick up some pointers along the way too. I'm very friendly with a lot of people in the industry, from breeders to jockeys, trainers, a few owners.
It becomes a big social occasion as well.
It is.
Whether you're buying or not buying. Yeah.
And there have been a lot of bargains at a lot of the sales, you know.
Yeah.
I like to see the young horses. I mean, JPEG, for example, he was very close to our heart in Dubai by winning the duty free in 2008. And he was a relatively inexpensive horse at the time that Basil purchased. So there have been a lot of good buys at many sales. And
I've been getting messages here from Tawanda. I put my glasses on to see what's going on now.
Is Tawanda yawning?
Yeah, bored. You want to know about sponsors? You got sponsors?
No, I don't think we do. Hollywood Bets and the Hollywood Syndicate have a few horses in training with Gareth, and but I don't think we have a sponsor per se.
Okay. The sale, the South African, the Nationals, they start tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah.
And
big. It's the big one of the season for South African breeders to go and get their money back
Yeah.
It's expensive.
We need to get the mouth on the phone from the sales. Here's Warren.
Hello?
Hello, Warren. Are you out of bed yet?
How are you?
Are you out of bed yet?
Absolutely, I'm now. You couldn't have phoned at the most inconvenient time when I'm trying to use the GPS lost in the streets of Johannesburg.
Oh, okay. As long as you're not on the toilet, it's fine. Yeah.
How's the podcast going?
No, very good. We were doing well. Terry's been a fine interviewee because he keeps talking like I don't have to.
Okay. So Terry Fripp is our man on the show today. Well, I'm missing you guys.
Are you still driving?
Yes, I have pulled over.
Oh, good. I drove up to Burnham Wood with you. I bloody had to change my trousers after about halfway.
No, I'm a very good driver, if you like
Yeah.
bad drivers, that is.
Yeah, especially when you're trying to put on bets while you're driving. Yeah. Tell me, how's it?
And the breakfast, the breakfast is not disappointing, is it?
I haven't had it yet. I'm going to settle in just now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Tell me, how the sales going?
Andrew and Terry, it's quite, I won't say quite surprisingly, because, the racing industry always rises to the top, and there's a lot of interest at the sales. There's a lot of owners present. There's a lot of trainers. And obviously I've been here for the week, so in the lead up it started off a little quiet, but as the weeks progressed, and of course it's sales day tomorrow, it's picked up and there's a lovely vibe, there's a lovely positive atmosphere. Bloodstock South Africa have really dressed the sales area beautifully, and there's some top quality horses. But as we say every year, there'll be the horses that fits everybody's budget. You'll be able to get horses for 80, 90 grand. You'll get horses for $500,000, and there will be the sales toppers, because there are really some smart individuals. So it's all set for 2 big days, Friday and Saturday.
Okay, so how many free caps have you scored?
Currently 2 free caps, and because you're always so nasty to me about freebies, I haven't got you one, but if you ask nicely, I'll get one today.
No, I need a floppy hat. I don't wear those peak caps.
You don't wear those peak. You got too much. You see, you got a bushy hairdo, and I've got no hair, so the caps fit me perfectly. But I'll try and find a nice floppy hat for you.
Yeah, at least I got a bit of thatch on top anyway.
But Andrew, to answer your question, really exciting times in the breeding ranks, and as I say, we all know that most industries are under pressure, and it's just nice to see everybody positive and trying their best, and all these stud farms have presented some beautiful horses, so there's going to be horses for absolutely everybody to buy. And if you can't buy a whole horse, we've gone on many times about syndication and buying shares in horses. So contact a trainer, contact a bloodstock agent, and if you don't want a whole horse, well, you can certainly get 10% or 5% of a horse. But it's all systems go. I've been very impressed with what I've seen so far.
Yeah, so Alistair and his crew have obviously done a fine job. I was paging through. They've obviously got very nice pedigrees. The pedigree needs to match the statue.
Yeah, absolutely. And people look at horses differently. There's obviously a couple that maybe have a few little confirmation faults, but there's some lovely horses, and I've seen horses with not 100% confirmation run and win races. So it's up to the individual how they see it and how they want to make their decisions. But really, some fabulous horses on show at the Germiston complex in Gauteng. Yep. So we're looking forward to the next 2 days.
No, good. Well, I'll let you go. Is Candice with you? Was she ready? Dumped you?
She is. No, she hasn't dumped me just yet. She is at the sales ground. I went early this morning to Turffontein to go and watch horses work and to go and have a look at how things are done up here at Turffontein, and a fabulous morning. And I'm now off to go to Macro in Alberton, so that's why I've got the GPS on to go and purchase something that Candice needs, and then I will head off to the sales complex and look forward to seeing all our colleagues and friends there during the course of the day.
No, good. Well, I hope the lady takes you to the right place. We don't want to miss you. So, okay, we'll leave it there, and
Yeah.
We'll see you at the weekend.
Yeah, and I believe it's Terry's ex-boss's birthday today, Tony Riverland. I say ex-boss, but still a great friend of Tony's. So we, of course, wish Tony Riverland a very happy birthday for today as well.
Well, I don't see any cake here, so, okay. We'll check it out. Good one. Have a good one.
Thanks, Andrew. Thanks to the team, and miss you guys, and look forward to being back with you in the pound seats next Thursday. Thanks for the call.
Okay, enjoy the sales. Cheers.
Cheers, brother. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye.
Yeah, he's always got lots to say.
Yeah, Warren is never a man that's got a loss for words.
No, never lost for words, yeah. Terry, that's about it. Think the industry's going in the right direction?
Onwards and upwards, I think.
Cape Town's doing well.
The guys knuckle down. I mean, the guys that are in the industry are the hard knockers, eh? They don't back down, they just keep marching on. I mean, COVID was a prime example of how the guys stuck together and got things on the go. I mean, there's 3 months of uncertainty of, we will race. You know, you need a date. Couldn't give us a date. You had to tick those horses over for 3 months. You know, what's the point of galloping a horse and you don't even know when you're racing? So that was a hard time. Just come and it's like almost lockdown. Go slow, go slow, go slow. Every now and again, the horse is really getting fresh, go a bit quicker, but without a date in my head.
That lockdown was an absolute disaster. No one knew what was going on, not even the government.
As I said, the guys in the racing industry in South Africa and worldwide as a whole, they're a resilient bunch.
Yeah. Yeah, so Terry, I think that's about a wrap for the thing. I just have to do a bit of sales talk here.
Editing.
No, not editing. I even put the right shirt on for a change. Usually I get crapped on because I left it behind.
Perfect, thanks for having me.
So we got, we need to get some money in, and you need to earn some money. So try about score 10 and score 6, the soccer bets. You can make some good money on that, especially if Manchester United get beaten all the time. Then you got card call, that new innovative bet where you can, do you know about card call?
Not really, no.
They give you the what's it? It's a bit like roulette actually.
Okay.
Yeah, come with a red card, black card, or in between or something. I can't remember. But every so often, I think every hour or something, they have a card call that you can have a punt on it.
Oh, is it not horse racing related?
No, it's all cards. Yeah.
Okay.
So you go to Tab Gold.
Yeah.
And you can go on Gallop TV as well.
Yeah.
They give you the heads up and on what goes on there.
So like lucky numbers.
I think Lucky Numbers was probably the biggest betting modem. I mean, what do you call it? Betting
It's
medium.
big. It's big.
Medium.
I believe it's huge.
I've watched blokes walk into the tote. The kart racing in Aussie.
Yeah.
The bloke walks in and said the race is just about to start. He just goes and said 500 rand, trifecta numbers, and
It's like saying sand in the wind.
Yeah.
It's like hoping which one gets there first.
I hope the wife wasn't watching.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of that trolley racing in Sweden, and it's big money, eh?
Yeah.
Those guys can race there for 3-4 million kroner for some of those big races in those sulkies. I mean, I think Sweden is probably the biggest money-wise.
But you raced in. We sort of had a relationship with Sweden at one stage.
We did. I think Dean Latimer organised to try and get some.
And we were betting
kart racing,
we were betting into that big Swedish pool.
Yeah.
Pick 6 or something. It was big money.
They call it the V5 and the V6.
That's right.
Yeah. It's similar to our Pick 6 or Jackpot. And you can get some good pools. I mean, the one time a few years when I was visiting Norway in the summer, and they have horse racing there, believe it or not. Just outside Oslo, there's a track there called Overvoll. And they have some big prize money, and they have the V5 and the V6. And their pools can get to over 1 million kroner at any given time of the meeting.
Yeah. It's very strange that those countries have never really made it big on the international stage.
They get some of the international jockeys that come over there for their Derby Day and a big race called the Mauritshuis, which is 1800. It's worth 2 million kroner, which is the kroner is probably about 40 cents stronger to the rand.
Yeah. But
it's got a greater status. And some of their jockeys, I mean, William Buick is Norwegian born.
Yeah, I know those English jockeys do go over there to ride.
Yeah.
But their horses don't go much out of there. I mean,
What they do is some of the big trainers in Norway and Sweden, they will apply for horses to race in Dubai in the summer. Well, the Dubai winter, but it's almost like summer anyway compared to where they've come from. And they will just sort of get them out of the really cold, the cold in Norway for the winter.
So a lot of Godolphin horses go there just to warm up.
It's a good spell. And the horses thrive there. When they come out of Dubai, their coats are changed and they're not sort of going out of their climate. It's just a lot warmer.
Yeah.
I mean, the English guys can fly out of Stansted or Gatwick straight to Dubai, straight into a quarantine box and run a week later, and do well.
No, it's not like that.
No, unfortunately not.
Well, the Japanese are taking over the world too. I mean, they've got some serious horses.
They're monsters. I mean, they also won the Shima Classic. I've never seen a horse win a mile and a half like he did in hand and break the track record by a second, unextended. And he's a monster. I believe he's opening favourite for the Arc. Let's see how well he goes there.
Interesting though, the Japs have been trying to win the Arc for a while. They've had some serious contenders and never quite got it right.
Yeah. I'm going to
have to make a plan.
Oh, yeah.
Get Gareth to pay for the air ticket.
I'll have to get off the box seat right now and go finish my duties.
Oh, okay.
So I'm excusing myself.
No, good. Thanks very much, Terry, for coming on.
Perfect, guys.
I appreciate it.
Thanks a lot.
And we'll catch up.
Awesome.
No doubt in the winners' box on Saturday.
Wunderbar.
Wunderbar.
We got some nice runners on Saturday. Some interesting runners.
Great. Thanks, Terry.
Thanks a lot.
That's it from In the Box Seat. And we will. Okay, I've got to look in the right camera because the Pee-wee is pointing at it. And we'll see you in the number one box, and we'll have Len Ferner back next week, so he can do all the talking. The missing link. Thanks very much, chaps. Cheers. Bye.
Thank you for watching this week's episode of In the Box Seat podcast right until the very end. And we hope that you enjoyed it because we certainly did. If you missed last week's podcast, In the Box Seat podcast with Andrew and myself, please go and watch it here. And last week's episode will be right there for you to go and enjoy and watch, as we know you will certainly enjoy In the Box Seat podcast from last week.